Hey everyone, it's Dane again. All right, it's home stretch here. So let's go ahead and get our Wi-Fi antenna hooked up. Looks like we're basically going to come in from the top. There's a little sort of plug right there, so we're going to just try to hook into that. I've never actually hooked one of these up before. That's actually kind of harder to secure there than I expected. Let's try again. There we go. You'll hear an affirmative pop, and you'll know it's good to go. All right, so we are actually ready to put our base plate back on. Before we do that, we need to remove this little bit of protective coating there for our thermal pad that is going to connect to our base plate. We also need to secure our HDMI port. Do I have that in there upside down? Actually, I haven't looked at that yet. Let's see here. Okay, so it just kind of sits on there, and then it'll get secured when we set the top of the shell back on, so don't worry about that for a minute. Oh yeah, we also need to screw the board back in, don't we? Don't want to forget that. All right, so I'm putting these back into place. So remember that there was a screw here. I believe that there was one, I know there was one here. I think there was one on the other side of the parallel port as well. Not 100% sure, I'm gonna go check. All right, so the answer to that question is yes, we do want to put a screw in that corner on the parallel port. So now we are ready to put our bracket back in, and we're going to want to run our Wi-Fi antenna up through there. And actually, I think we want to unplug our controller and power. So I think those are gonna go through our board. Oh, you know what? There's one last thing I wanted to do before installing that, and that was to go ahead and tack down this ribbon cable with this little bit of adhesive. So I'm gonna take off that adhesive pad and push that down onto that little IC that's next to it. I'm not even sure that's gonna, yeah, it kind of just wants to pop up anyway. I think our crease is good enough, but yeah, what the heck. We tried. All right, so back to it. Base plate, antenna, come up through. All right, I think we are all set there. Sitting down in there good. So the other thing I'm gonna do is clean off this bit here just so I can make sure that our Wi-Fi antenna sticks to that pretty good. As I didn't really clean that off very well. So we get a paper towel and a little bit of alcohol there. And it doesn't hurt to just kind of wipe this whole thing down. All right, so actually kind of looks like okay, yeah, we're sitting down good now. All right, so let's go ahead and hook our controller back up. Controller's good, power's good, and this I think will just kind of sit that. So we will peel off the adhesive cover there. I'm trying to anyway. It's actually kind of hard to get at. There we go. All right. All right, there's our antenna. And that adhesive strip stays nice and secure. All right, so we've got a few more screws put back in. Maybe that's not where that one goes. One here. Oh yeah, the arrows tell you where to put them. Duh. Take that, unplug that power, make that a little easier to get this put back in there. All right, so our base plate is back in, which means we are ready to hook our laser back up. All right, so you just kind of set it back down on these pins, push our flex cable back in, and our connector. Not crazy about the fact that that kind of wants to pop up over here, but I don't think it has anything to do with our mod board, so I figure that'll probably correct itself when we finish putting the case back together. So let's go ahead and set our HDMI port cover in. Like that. And I think we're ready to set the shell back on top. You can see that that is how the port sits there. All right, cool. We're ready to finish putting this back together. Then we can do our final test. You know, kind of funny, I don't even have any extra screws left over on this one. What did I do? Did I screw it back in too hard? It's definitely bound up on something. I've never had to put one of these back together before. I don't know how it works. Go see if I can figure that out. Okay, I figured out what the issue was. So be careful with this tab right here. Remember how we bent that on the base plate at the beginning? If you have it up too high, it will actually catch in this gear in the lid. That is what was happening to me. That is why if I was pressing down too hard on the back of this, basically if the screws were in too hard on the back of the PlayStation, lid wouldn't open. Now if I press down, it opens up no problem. So we're ready to finish buttoning this thing back up. All right, so let's do some testing. Decided to grab out one of my favorites in the hunt for the original PlayStation. Loved this game when it came out, rented it a bunch. Years later discovered that the devs for this were the same devs that did the Metal Slug games, which I also love. Go figure. So yeah, let's see how this does. Weird. Not sure why it booted to this unless there's something up with the laser. Let's just reset it. See what's going on. Yeah, I don't like that. It makes me wonder if something is going on with our laser, because it is booting straight to the CD player menu. It's like not recognizing it as a PlayStation game. In fact, it didn't even look like it was spinning it, which is really weird. Boot here and then close it. It sounds like it's spinning it now. Okay, so I am going to have to figure out what's going on with the laser. I'll be right back. All right, so I don't know exactly what's going on here. For some reason, I was thinking maybe the lid being on there was having something to do with it. So I thought I'd take the lid off, put in a disc that I had that, isn't scratched up, it's pretty clean. And if you want it to run, you can see where I've got this pencil. I had to carve the eraser out a little bit. The latch button that tells the PlayStation that the lid is closed is down in there. So you can see that we are, the game is running. It is outputting 1080p. No idea why it would not do it with the lid on there. The only thing I can think of is maybe it wasn't engaging this button quite well enough or something. Yeah, I'm not sure. So I'm gonna keep fooling around with it, but hey, we know the thing works. We know that the laser isn't dead. There's just something else weird going on here. I did actually pull the cable and reseat it just to be sure for both of these. Yeah, so I guess I'll try to put the lid back on and just test it with the same game, see if that's what's doing it. But we're getting close, almost there now. All right, so it's not the lid itself. It did take a little while to load. It almost seemed like it took longer to load with the lid on than it did before. Not quite sure what would explain that, but I just set the lid on there. It's actually not screwed in right now. I just sort of set the thing on there and tried it out that way. And it does work. I'm gonna finish screwing this thing back together. Try it out with a couple more games, see if I can't get a little bit of footage to share. If you want to sign off at this point, I get it. But yeah, thanks for hanging with me here today. This one was a lot of fun, despite there being some issues here at the end with, the laser not exactly doing what I wanted or whatever. Still, this one was really cool. Like, you've never seen PS1 games look this good. And this is just sort of a crappy old HDMI monitor I had lying around. I think blown up on like a big TV, this would look awesome. But yeah, I love this stuff. The PS1 is near and dear to my heart. I made the jump from the original NES to the PlayStation 1. I got through the 16-bit era playing on my friends' Super Nintendos and Sega Genesis consoles. But yeah, I think this is really, really cool. I'm kind of jealous, actually. I was only able to secure one of these units, but hey, that's the spirit of giving, right? I am really stoked for my sister and my brother-in-law to get this and get to spend a little time playing some classics this holiday season. Yeah, so thanks again for hanging out with me. If you enjoyed this, please give me a like and a subscribe and all that fun stuff. Yeah, otherwise, thanks for hanging out, and I'm gonna go capture a little more footage of this for the outro. Bye.